Thanks. I hear the recording has started. So I'll just start by introducing myself and introducing the session. So my name is Wilfred Mworia. I work at Invhestia Africa Limited. Um, and my role there is Chief of Staff. And I'm involved a lot in the work that we do in various capacities. And I'll talk about the organization in a little bit as I introduce the webinar. So this is session 2. And some of us may have been there in session 1. So we had a webinar. Actually, I think I should have also asked if you are there in session 1 of the webinar, of this series, rather. This is the second in a 2-part series on applied AI for corporate finance and financial modeling. So the first, and I mean fast in terms of number one, not fast in terms of fast, which we'll come to in a little bit. But the first webinar that we had was more of a hands-on, I guess, demo of application of AI in corporate finance and financial modeling that was led by Steven Gugu, who's our CEO. And this is the second session, which is more going to be looking at the course that we are putting out and that we are inviting you guys to be a part of in the next few weeks, to basically now go into the depths of this and to learn full on. So the idea is to basically give you the context of what the course is, when it is going to start, what you'll be learning, etc. So we'll also be sharing, if you are there for the first session, you must have received the recording from the applied session, the one where we did kind of a few workflows with AI for financial modeling. But you'll also receive this recording as well as the previous one if you have registered by email. And if you missed that first session, then hopefully you can catch up as well. But just to jump into this, first of all, for context, who is Invhestia Africa? I think in a nutshell, we basically say that our mission is to bridge the gap between African opportunity and capital. And that's why I think if you see behind me on my wallpaper background, there's the text there says, "We are the bridge." And we believe that our mission in this country, or maybe in this continent, is to bridge the gap between African opportunity and capital. And we do that. We have 3 brands or 3 work areas, business areas that we do that in. One is Invhestia Ventures, which is mostly focused on early stage venture support. Some of us on the call may be familiar with our sister company, which we merged with before, which was called Victoria Ventures, now which is part of Invhestia Africa. So that is largely the avenue through which we do our early stage investor readiness, early stage investing, that kind of work. A lot of project and program management around access to finance is done through our ventures platform. We call that Invhestia Ventures. Then Invhestia Advisory is our business line around corporate finance and project finance advisory and consulting. And on that side, we do a lot of work for corporates and for projects around financial modeling, valuations, financial analysis, as well as capital raising support. And we provide advisory on both buy side and sell side as well. And training. So this training that we're offering is largely part of our advisory practice. And then thirdly, we have what we are recently introducing called Invhestia Capital, which is now focused on capital deployment, as well as sell-side support for those who are looking to deploy capital on the continent, and fund management services. So of our history of about maybe 15 years now, if I'm not wrong, we have worked on financial models worth well over 4 billion that have supported different purposes ranging from capital raising, acquisitions, mergers, and so on. We have trained well over 1,000, it must be 1,500 or more by now, individuals that we have trained in various capacities, especially around advanced Excel and financial modeling. And we have around our ventures practice a lot of work that we do with angel investors as well. But I won't go into that because it's not so much the aim of this call. So the focus will be on our learning platform, and especially the financial modeling course and training that we are providing. And we have been doing this for a very long time. We're not just starting to provide financial modeling training. I guess the big difference now is that we are also augmenting artificial intelligence, and I'm sure every one of us on the call is familiar with the whole, since ChatGPT in 2022, 2023 up to now, and all the kind of the revolution that has happened with the advent of generative AI specifically, to the point that now generative AI is being used extensively in various knowledge work areas. And one of those, of course, is in the financial services sector. So we do all our financial modeling and our financial modeling training around a standard, and this is an international standard called the FAST standard. So just to give you context, and we were the first FAST standard certified company in Africa. And based on that, we have also, as I said, done a lot of training, and you can see some logos of some of the organizations we have provided training for, not just here in Nairobi, but also outside Nairobi or outside Kenya, around financial modeling, just financial modeling as is, whether project financial modeling or corporate financial modeling. And as I said, what's happening now is basically we are augmenting that with artificial intelligence. So basically, for someone who maybe is not familiar, or the FAST, FAST is something that is new to you. FAST is an acronym. It stands for flexible, appropriate, structured, and transparent, and it is an international standard. On this slide, you may have seen that it's a standard that was set by the who's who of finance globally. And if you search or go to FAST standard, you'll find out more about the standard. There's a full technical document around how the standard is applied. But in a nutshell, flexible refers to the fact that, we aim to build models that are, purpose-built. It meets its objectives and can be maintained. One of the challenges many of the entrepreneurs we come across is, especially at the ventures and at the early stage level, is how do I keep my financial model? How do I maintain a financial model? A well-built model is flexible. It can be repurposed, it can be updated, and it's a living document that continues to grow over time, as opposed to, replacing the financial model or overhauling it unnecessarily. Our FAST model is also appropriate. That means it has been built with an appropriate degree of accuracy, that it reflects key business decisions without necessary detail. So that's another founding principle around the FAST standard, that the model should have just enough detail and just enough breadth and depth to capture the purpose for which the model is being built, and no more, nothing unnecessary, that is. Then structured, consistent building. If you look at a FAST standard financial model, like all the models we do, and like we said, we've done maybe well over 400 models in our history. All of them are built in a very, very consistent way. The sheet structure, the column structure, how the different blocks are structured, and so on. And that makes it very easy to maintain and update the financial model without a lot of issues. And then finally, transparent, or T for transparent, which means keep it simple, avoid unnecessary complexity, and make sure that the model is usable by not just by the creator. So many models you come across, they are so technical. It's only the guy who built the model who can make use of it. But with FAST, we say that the model should not only have enough depth, but also be able to give a non-technical user a view into the model without them being a technical user or a technical financial person. So those are the founding principle of FAST, and that is the standard around which we do our training, and around which this training will be built, again augmented with AI. And when you receive these slides, you can click to download the standard and the technical details, and so on. So why AI in corporate finance and financial modeling? Why bring AI into the mix? So like I said, we've been running this training for a while. Normally we do it in cohorts, or we are hired by organizations to train their teams. And we've always, just done financial modeling, open the Excel, build the model. So why bring in AI, or why now should we bring in AI? And the fact of the matter is, AI is reshaping how finance teams are built, how they build, test, and use their models. Yeah. I'm sure most of us, and maybe this should also have been a poll, how many of us have used an artificial intelligence tool in our financial modeling or our financial analysis? And I bet most of us may have used something. So, you have your Claude, which, or even ChatGPT, both have plugins into Excel, and you can use those to, prompt the AI to build for you parts of the model or to do certain things or certain workflows on your model. So why AI? One, speed. Automation is the big thing here. So with AI, you can automate a lot of the repetitive work that is done. So for instance, one of the things that is repetitively done when building models is kind of ingesting historical data for the model. So you have historical audited accounts, you want to bring them into the model, they're in PDFs or whatever the case may be. And, in previous times, it may have been kind of going line by line. You have the document here and your Excel here, or maybe copy paste, and then you try and, force fit it into the Excel. But because of AI and the fact that many of these tools are also able to read PDFs and other documents, even images, then you can use that to automate that part of the work, as well as other use cases where you can now kind of save a lot of time that you otherwise would have spent. Accuracy is a big one. Of course, this is almost a double-edged sword, which is one of the things we actually touched on it during webinar one, but we'll touch on it much more when we come to the actual course. I say it's a double-edged sword because with AI, one, there is the risk of hallucination and the AI just doing things by itself. So there's the issue of you being able to identify those. On the other hand, where you have the Excel already, one of the things that we used, particularly one of the tools we used is called Crunched. And, during our training, we probably used that Claude and Crunched. Crunched is very good at reading your model and catching errors. So we do use AI for model review, where you point the model at it or a worksheet at it and basically ask it to evaluate the model or evaluate the worksheet and identify any errors that there may be, particularly related to the first standard. And it will basically check that, and then you can go in and verify and improve the model or adjust where necessary. So that is another use case where, where AI is coming. And then insights, again, in times past, if you're doing sensitivities, if you want some quick analysis done, you may have had to do that manually. But with AI, of course, you can do that using natural language, where you can describe the kind of insight that you want to the AI, and it will read your model and it will be able to surface for you the kinds of insights that you want. So AI is also bringing a lot of insight, a lot of value in terms of generating insights, especially from larger data sets that you might have. And then finally, and I think for me, personally, the most critical aspect is focus. And this is the idea of AI is because it's able to do a lot of these automations and do things fairly quickly. Tasks that may have taken you days, perhaps may take you only, hours, perhaps, if it's a big workflow. That means that you have more time freed up from the mechanical tasks to now maybe the higher level things like, judgment, interpretation, decision making, the things that require a human to look at the content and make a judgment call of one form or another. So those are the kind of four big areas that we see AI influencing how finance teams build, test, and use their models. The idea is this course is about application. It's about showing you how you can apply AI in real world models and using a trusted standard. That is the FAST standard. So applying AI to real world models the fast way. Okay. So now to jump into what the course is and the mechanics of what we are offering. Basically, it's a 6 weeks. Well, we have two options. The first option is a 6-week course that you go through. And over the 6 weeks, there's a combination of self-study. So we have a platform called learn.investia.com. So learn.investia is our e-learning platform that we have used for the last X number of years, very many years, to take people through the financial modeling. And it's something, if you go to learn.investia.com right now, you basically land on the landing site for the e-learning platform. So the 6-week session comprises self-study. And then each week you have basically modules that you go through. And then each week there's a model build assignment. And each week there's a live session via Teams through which you go through. So you basically go through content by yourself on self-study online. And then there are assignments that are given there. And then our team would then provide a live session once every week to go through each aspect. And on the next slide, I'll go through what is covered during each week. So what's included, you'll have full access to Learn.Investia for a period of time. I think for 3 months, you'll have a total of 3 months access to Learn.Investia. You'll have live facilitation sessions every Friday, weekly assignments with facilitator feedback. So our analyst team basically will support in going through assignments and providing individual model review and feedback. And everyone who completes the course will get a certificate of completion. You must complete a financial model by the end of week 6 that will be evaluated by the team, and we'll provide feedback on that to help you improve your financial modeling skill. And then assignments, as I mentioned, and you'll get a certificate of completion. Optionally, if you want, we can arrange for full certification. So from the course, you get a certificate of completion. But if you'd want to be certified as from the FAST organization as a FAST certified financial modeler, we can also assist you with that to connect you with the standard setting body. There is a price paid for it, and basically you can sit a formal exam and you get certified, much as any other certification. If there are any questions, please do also put them on chat. Otherwise, I'll just keep going and we'll also open up for questions later on. Okay, so that's the 6-week course, and this is the full breakdown of what the week by week journey looks like. It's divided into 3 phases. Weeks 1 and 2 are more or less the foundational weeks. Then you have weeks 3 and 4, which are now focused especially on model build, and you start doing your modeling or your the model that you'll be assessed on from week 3. And week 5 and 6 are focusing on analysis and presentation. In terms of what you'll cover, week 1, you'll basically be introduced to AI and AI for finance professionals. And then we will look at the operating revenue and how to model operating revenue and operating costs. Now, I should pause here again, maybe to emphasize something, that much as this is applied AI in financial modeling, financial modeling is still financial modeling. So the basics of financial modeling, the essence of how to build a financial modeling, the accounting rules and the finance rules that apply, you still have to have those, much as you use AI as a tool or as a helper to help you either build faster or build better. So the course is designed such that you have the foundational skills of financial modeling, accounting, and finance as regards financial modeling. So that's why you'd see you have operating revenue and operating costs, and how do you model those? Then finance costs, tax and equity, and then valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, depreciation, fixed assets, capital expenditure, and then working capital and the statements, and then finally creating dashboards and so on. And then alongside those, you have modules on AI, prompting skills, use of different aspects of AI for different things, agentic AI, and all those other nice things. So the thing is, at the end of the day, you have a solid foundation as a financial modeler or a finance analyst. And then on top of that, you also have exposure to how AI can be integrated in each of the stages of building a financial model. And that is basically over the 6-week period. Okay. Now, we have an alternative delivery model, which is a 3-day in-person. So the 6 weeks is fully virtual. It's a fully virtual course. But we have an alternative delivery platform through a 3-day in-person training. So that is essentially 3-day workshop, 3 full days, and basically covering all of the aspects that we've discussed here. So basically week 1 and 2 would be covered on day 1. And then day 2 will cover the model build aspect, and then day 3 will cover the analysis and presentation. So both are alternatives. Right now, the kind of call we are putting out is especially for the virtual. The 3-day, for those of you who are in organizations, especially who might want this for your teams, this is an option that we can make available to you, and we can arrange for you. As you saw, we have done trainings for organizations based around their own work and their own setup and the kind of work that they do. So we can also offer bespoke training in an in-person format, customized for your team and for your operations. So feel free also to reach out to us if that's an option. And alternatively, if you feel that you prefer physical rather than in-person, you're also allowed to apply for the 3-day course, and we will give the date when we'll possibly be doing that as an in-person. So in terms of what the investment is, the costs 130,000 plus VAT per participant, covering either the 6-week journey or the 3-day format. So that is what it basically costs for either. You choose one or the other depending on what you want. And then, I should say, if you're an organization on the call and you're thinking of doing this for like your whole team, then that's also a discussion we can have around how we price that for your team and what could be involved. If you have like, I don't know, a team of 5, 6, 10 people at once, then as I said, we can also offer to you as an organization. What's included with the 130,000, as I said, full access to the e-learning platform for a duration, for the core duration, and I think up to 3 months from the point of entry, the live sessions, the weekly assignments, the individual financial model review and feedback, as well as the certificate of completion. Of course, fees are payable in full prior to the start of the cohort. Okay, then moving on into the key dates and so on. So we are currently open for applications. The application deadline is 7th of August, and there's a 10% early bird discount if you apply by 30th of July. And the 6-week program is slated to start on the 12th of August. That's a Wednesday, if I'm not wrong, and will run for the 6 weeks virtually. We currently have set a tentative date of 18th to 20th August for the 3-day intensive. That would be subject, of course, to having a full cohort and so on. But feel free again to register for the 3-day intensive. The dates for that will be 18th to 20th of August. Of course, if you want us to do this bespoke for your organization, then we can set up when works best for your organization and for your team. Critical is that whether you pick the 6-week or the 3-day intensive, the curriculum is the same, the delivery is the same, you'll get the same value. I guess with the difference that in the 3-day, you'll actually have that kind of dedicated in-person attention over a kind of a focused period. So choose which format fits your schedule. Both of them lead to the same certificate of completion, the same knowledge, as well as the fact that if you want, you can also get certified separately at a separate cost based on that training, if that is useful to you. Okay. Then how to enroll? Basically, choose your format, whether you want 6-day or 3-day. Submit your application. I'll give the link to the application before the end of this presentation. Like I said, there's a 10% early bird discount if you apply before July 31. Then, of course, pay your fee. When you fill in your application, on the application form, you'll find details of how the payment will be done. But essentially, once we receive your application, we'll send you an email confirming that we have received your application, and with details of how and where to pay, and an invoice and details of how and where to pay for the course. And then once you have been confirmed, once payment has been confirmed, you will receive your learn.investia login. Critical is the email you use in application. That's the email we'll communicate to you with. So you will receive your logins through that same email, as well as joining instructions ahead of the cohort start date. If you have any questions, learn@invhestia.com is the email you want to send out that email to. If you want to consult directly, again, if you're an organization and you want to discuss bespoke, then you can also email at learn.investia. Sorry, learn@investia.com. I also see my colleague has put the application link on chat, so you can already use that. There's a link to a Google Docs form, and it's on chat, and you can use that to apply. Alternatively, you can also use this QR code, and I'll pause on the screen a little bit in case anyone wants to take a snapshot of it, and it will take you to the same form with the same details for your application. As I mentioned, after this email, we'll send out the registration information, this slide deck, by email to anyone who registered for this webinar. And you'll also receive links to both webinar recordings. So as I said, the first webinar was the hands-on. We did some, Stephen walked through AI, how AI thinks, and we did a few demos on how to use AI, or two use cases where we just did a practical on AI as a kind of a demonstration. And then this is the information webinar around the course that we are offering. So I'll now move on. If you didn't capture it, don't worry, you'll receive this, and also the link is on chat. You can just click on the link directly. Yeah, and that's it. As I said, for more information or inquiries, please email learn@investia.com. And I will open up for any questions, any clarifications. Just feel free to either put it on chat or unmute or raise your hand, and then we will call on you to ask a question if you have one. Any questions? I'll just go back to this slide for the time being so that you can have the details. Any questions, either on chat, or you can unmute or even raise your hand and we'll call on you.
Wilfred, maybe just to ask for someone who is here and which is AI covered in this part, in this course?
Which AI? Oh, okay. That's a good question. So we use Claude and Crunched. Those are the two primary tools that we use. The knowledge, okay, let me say this. The knowledge around financial modeling cuts across whatever tool you are using. Remember, AI is augmenting already your financial modeling skills. And what you're learning fundamentally, let me go back here, is you're learning one, the fundamentals of financial modeling aligned to the FAST standard, and then how to apply AI to that. So the first part of the answer is the skills, the core financial modeling skills, apply whichever tool you use. Okay. Then the second part is for us, it's Crunched and Claude that we use. So Claude from Anthropic and Crunched. I'd say that broadly speaking, the AI specific skills are applicable across. If you happen to use ChatGPT or OpenAI tools at your organization, it's likely that you can carry them across both organizations. I mean, across other tools. Again, if you're looking for bespoke training and you already have a custom setup around AI at your organization, we can also look at that and then use that, or basically train based on what you already used. So I don't know. I don't know that there are any organizations. I'm sure Claude and ChatGPT are the largest. I'm sure there are some who use Gemini. So we can also customize for Gemini if we want us to provide training around Gemini. I don't know that there's anyone who uses Mistral or any of the other models that are out there. I don't know if anyone of the organization self-hosts your own model, but we can customize that side. But in terms of what we'll use specifically for our case, for this training, will be Claude and Crunched. Yeah. Any other question? Okay. I'll take it that perhaps we provided sufficient information, or we communicated sufficiently. I'm giving 1 or 2 more minutes. Okay, cool. So, as I said, Cost of the course is 130,000. You can choose whether you want it to do the virtual, which of course gives you more flexibility with your time, and there's kind of a wider space, 6 weeks across board, or you can choose if you want 3 days. And also, if you want to talk to us about bespoke training for your organization, please feel free to reach out to us. We've run trainings, as you saw, NCBA, Family Bank, Acorn, and a few other organizations, which were all in-person trainings around either we have an advanced Excel training course as well as the financial modeling course, or a combination of both, and now, of course, with the AI component introduced. So with that, I think I will wrap it up here. And thank you all again for joining. As I said, you will receive these slides, the information around registration, as well as links to both this webinar recording and the session 1 webinar recording. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. Have a brilliant day and a brilliant weekend ahead, everyone on the call. Thank you and good day.
Thank you.